Well, hello again and welcome to the VK6CS Fun with Amateur Radio channel. Now I was up at the club yesterday, up at the Hills Amateur Radio group, and one or two of the members suggested a video that I could do on the channel, but I've decided not to do that one on the grounds that it's anatomically impossible, and I'm too mean to buy myself a steak and a bottle of wine. So I thought I'd go with another suggestion. This was from Martin VK6ZMS, who said he has just bought this this Micron LC meter from Altronics, I think. Now this is an off-the-shelf item. I think it costs about $55, and he thought it might be a good idea to compare it with this one here, which is a kit that I built a year or so ago. I think I did a video or two on constructing this particular LC meter kit, just to see what the difference is. Now I thought that could be useful because I will always take the easiest path. So if I can just go to the shop and buy one of these over the counter for $54, I certainly wouldn't go and buy a kit for about $100 and go through all the trouble of building it and calibrating it. So let's see how the two compare. Let's see if I could have saved a lot of time and money by just buying this. Now I do have some small inductances here, some little RF chokes that I bought from JCar this morning, just to do this this experiment. I did have a couple of chokes, but they were a reasonable distance apart in value. But I thought, just as an experiment, I'd get some low inductance type devices, because if you were, supposing you were making a valve amplifier, you might want to make a tank circuit or something like that. A lot of the inductances in the tank circuit are going to be very low. You know, there might be a couple of microhenries. You might have taps, you know, that would be 4 microhenries, 5 microhenries, those sort of values, sort of less than 10 microhenries. And I thought, well, let's just see how it would go, because I thought at the time when I read the spec of these two, I thought, well, I'll go for the kit because it will more accurately display the lower inductances, the sort of inductances that I might need to make up radio circuits. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I think this is 1 microhenry. So let's just put the 1 microhenry inductor on. So there'll be a little bit of stray inductance probably because of the leads, but not much you can do about that. I'm going to, of course, connect them together and hit the cow button. Okay, and now I'll connect it to the 1 microhenry device. And there we go. That says 0.95 microhenries, and you can see that. Going to focus? Yeah. So 0.95 microhenries. Now that 1 microhenry device has got a silver band on it, so it's plus or minus 5%. So 5% of 100 microhenries, 5 microhenries. So that's within spec. Actually, it's just on the edge, isn't it? 95 microhenries would be in spec. But you know, as I say, we've got. It's not a very expensive device, and we've got the cables there as well. Right, so let's see how that does on this one. Now, I tried connecting these. I don't have the instructions for this meter, this one here, and I tried the same thing. So it's on inductance. Let's put it on the lowest inductance range. Short these 2 probes, 2 clips together, and then adjust the pot. No, I'm not getting any kind of getting any kind of variation there, but it is telling me that the leads are giving me minus microhenries. So this is a millihenry range. So that's 0.000. So if that was 0.100, that would be 100 microhenries. Okay, so it's showing me minus 8 microhenries, strangely enough. Let's put it on the 1 microhenry device. Now it's showing me minus 7 microhenries. So I suppose you could say that is showing 1 microhenry, isn't it? It went from minus 8, remember, when I had the probes connected together. Now I've got the device on there, it's showing me minus 7. So that's showing 1 microhenry. I think we could say that that's probably a pass. So what else do we have here? Now, I've got some other values here. I think this is a 2.2, so I'll just put it on the other device. That's showing 2.24 microhenries. If you can see that on the right hand side on this meter here, 2.23 microhenries. So let's just see what it shows on the other device. That's showing minus 5 microhenries. So that's showing about 3 microhenries. So it's starting to get to the point where it's a little bit wobbly. Okay. Let's try a 4.7 microhenry. Remember, these are the sort of values you might find in a tank circuit. That's showing 4.88 microhenries on there. 4.88 microhenries. We'll just put it on the other device. And that's showing minus 2, so minus 3. So you could actually say that, you know, if it went from minus 8 to minus 3, that's showing about 5 microhenries. I don't think I'd like to use this meter for this sort of work, to be perfectly honest, but you would get an idea. So 4.7 microhenries is about 5 microhenries. Minus 8 to minus 3, it's about 5, isn't it? Okay. Now this one here I think is a 6.8. 6.8 microhenries. It's showing 7.14 on there. Let's try getting that a little bit closer there to there. 7.08 microhenry. See what it shows on this one. Zero. So if you were to take the minus 8 microhenries as a 0, that's showing you about 7 or 8 microhenries, isn't it? So it's 6.8. So again, I don't think I would. I think I'd much prefer to use the gadget on the right for that. Got another one here which I think is 330 microhenries. You can see it's showing 342.1 microhenries on this meter here. 342.1 microhenries. I'll just put that on the other gadget. And that's showing 326 microhenries. Because remember, this is millihenries. So these are, there's the decimal point there. So it's 0.326 millihenries, which is 326 microhenries. So we've got about a 15 microhenry dispute there between the two devices. But it's in the ballpark, isn't it? I mean, if you were mucking around with those sort of inductances, that'd probably be close enough. It's going to get you in the ballpark. Let's have a look at something a bit bigger. Now this thing here is an audio crossover choke. I don't know if you can see that. That is a 3 millihenry. And it's air cored. There's no core in there, and it's a crossover inductor for a speaker system. But I actually bought that to use as an RF choke, but it's actually for a speaker system. So let's put it on this one, and it's showing 3.123 millihenries. 3.123 millihenries. Let's just put it on that one. Change the scale so that it will actually read 3 millihenries. And there we go, 3.15. 3.15 millihenries. So that's pretty close. They're pretty close there. So it's okay once you get into the millihenry range. I would say it's fine. Certainly with low microhenries, this would not be very useful. Let's try something else. Now, we noticed at the club yesterday that this is an inductor that Martin had, and we tried this and we got two very wildly different readings. So first of all, let's just put it on this one. It's going on the right hand meter, and we can measure 30. It's saying it's about, it's taken a while to settle down, 30 millihenries, give or take, let's say. About 30 millihenries. So now I'll take that off and I'll put that on the other device. And it says 9.42 millihenries. That's interesting. So all of the air cored inductors, they show pretty much the same on both meters. Very, very similar sort of values. Once we get to an inductor that has a core, we get wildly different readings. So on the left it's saying, on this meter it's saying it's 9.38 millihenries. On this one it says it's 30 millihenries. So what the deuce is going on? I hear you cry. Well, it's going to be it's going to have to do with how these devices measure the inductance. It will be this inductance effectively will plug into an oscillator circuit, and the internals of this will read the frequency that the oscillator then oscillates at, and it will use a mathematical equation to give you the reading, to calculate the inductance. And they'll both work the same. But the thing is that this core is going to give you different results on different frequencies. Because of the permeability of the coil, you're going to have more or less energy stored in the coil, depending on what frequency is being applied to it. So, you know, this one and this one obviously have two very different frequencies. When you plug this inductance in, the oscillator is producing two very different frequencies. So that's why it's getting the two very different readings. So the only real way to tell, if you're going to wind an inductor onto any kind of core, the only real way to tell what the inductance it then becomes is get a signal generator, strap it to a scope, strap this across it, and then adjust the frequency for a dip. I think that's how you do it. I'd have to look that up, but suffice to say that is what's going on. So to get an accurate reading, so I'd have to look it up, but I suspect it's going to be something like strapping this across a signal generator and then sweeping the frequency on the signal generator and then looking at it like that. Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting. So I'm sorry, but if you're going to be doing radio projects, it looks like you're going to have to go for the kit. That's the easy way out. This will be fine for audio projects, doing crossovers and all that sort of stuff. This one, if you're going to be doing RF projects, I would say. I might do another video and look at the capacitor ranges on these 2 meters and see what the difference is there. Well, okay, as always, many thanks for watching. Hope you found that informative, or interesting, entertaining even, and I'll catch you next time.